Hey lovelies, come meal prep with me as I teach you 3 things you're doing wrong in your meal prep journey and how to fix them. Let's go. Today we're making lamb loaded sweet potatoes. One of my go-to nourishing, comforting meals that's also good on macros and micronutrients. Number 1, you're not thinking about cooking time. I am starting with roasting my sweet potatoes for this meal prep because that's going to take the longest amount of time. The second thing is the quinoa. So that's gonna go on shortly after the sweet potatoes. And then I can work on the salad last because that is going to take the least amount of time assembling. You could be cooking for 1 hour instead of 3 if you just took a couple minutes to look at everything you're cooking and decide the order that you're gonna do it in.
Alrighty, so let's begin. We start by washing our produce very thoroughly in baking soda and vinegar. Make sure you scrub those pesticides away as best as y'all can. Once all the food is completely washed and well dried, it's time to get down to business. I go with the cooking order that we mentioned: sweet potatoes first, then the quinoa. I'm trying a really exciting new item, black garlic, roasted black garlic for the quinoa to give it some extra flavor, and I'm also cooking it in chicken broth. So while that's simmering,
Number 2, you're not maximizing your kitchen. I am never cooking just one thing at a time. If I'm chopping some produce, then there's definitely something simmering on the stove as that chopping is happening. If the chicken is in the air fryer, then there's definitely sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts in the actual oven. Never do one thing at a time. You must learn how to multitask so you're not in the kitchen for 7 hours. Prime example right now is that I just put my sweet potatoes in the oven, and while they're in the oven, the quinoa is going to be cooking on the stove and the chickpeas are going to be roasting in the air fryer. That's 3 things happening at one time. You paying all that rent, you better make that kitchen work for you. I love adding chickpeas to this dish, not only because of the texture that they get from being air fried, but also because they're a great way to get that fiber in without having to try too hard or digesting the slimy texture of a failed chia pudding. Anyways, we just got a new can opener because the other one was trash, but I don't know how it works. Ah! Oh my God! Look at it! Wow, this is elite. Girl, I thought it was doing something. It wasn't doing nothing. Unless somebody I live with comes home in the next 10 to 20 minutes, I won't be having chickpeas in this dish this time, but we'll see what happens. I don't know how to. Next up, what makes this loaded sweet potato truly delightful is our toppings. And I'm gonna go through very quickly why we chose what we chose. Now, obviously I was inspired by Mediterranean flavors, so that's really why we chose what we chose. But real quick, hydration, vitamin C, antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties, flavor, and flavor, but also antioxidants. And we're gonna put all of these veggies together to make a little topping salad. So it's gonna be kind of like a Mediterranean chopped salad that goes on top of each lamb loaded sweet potato. And in the spirit of meal prep efficiency, I'm going to show you how I separate each of the components of the loaded sweet potato in meal prep containers, and I'm able to take it to work very easily or have it as breakfast with a little fried egg on top. We're making it into a Mediterranean loaded potato day 1 and then a taco bowl style loaded potato day 2. There's options, okay? That's how you meal prep effectively. Which brings us to our conclusion. Reason number 3 you're failing at meal prep is because you're prepping things that don't work with your lifestyle and preferences. If you know you hate oatmeal, why did you make 6 mason jars worth of overnight oats and pretend you was gonna eat it? Stop. Or if you know you don't like to eat the same thing every day, do not make 7 pounds worth of ground chicken. Make 1 pound worth of ground chicken, 1 pound worth of grilled shrimp, and 1 pound worth of ground beef. And then you could even cook them all at the same time because I just told you about utilizing that kitchen that you pay for. So the ground beef is on the stove, the grilled shrimp and chicken are in the air fryer, or one's in the oven, one's in the air fryer, whatever you wanna do. And then you put them in separate containers and eat whatever's calling you throughout the week. So you meal prep according to your lifestyle and preferences, not according to what you saw Susie meal prepping on the last TikTok that you just watched. Organic Greek style lamb sausage that I got from my local farmer's market. We're going to season this up in a cast iron skillet.
Now I get to show you tip number 2, maximize your kitchen in action. We got the sweet potatoes in the oven, the quinoa, and the lamb sausage on the stove. This is what the quinoa looks like when it's finished. And I loved how the lamb sausage was browning up. Once we get to this step in the cooking process, we're continuing with tip number 1, establishing a cooking order. We put salad last on our list, and now we have arrived. And here's a little bonus tip for you, actually.
It can be very easy to add a little razzle dazzle to your meal prep in a healthy and simple way. This is how I'm doing it for my loaded lamb sweet potatoes. Thick and creamy plain Greek yogurt, no sugar, no additives, high in protein, and then some freshly squeezed lemon and salt and pepper. That's it. Now, because I'm gonna add a little bit more, like maybe some adobo, maybe a little bit of like red cayenne pepper or something like that. But really, with just 3 or 4 ingredients, you can have a nice little healthy, simple sauce, no additives, no preservatives, that can amp up your recipe.
Now for everyone's favorite part, the plating. These are the glass containers that I use for my meal prep. I'm very happy with them. I highly suggest glass over plastic meal prep containers so that when you're reheating them, you are not leaching toxins into your food. I also recommend getting the meal prep containers with compartments so that you can separate the food and it can last longer. I'm making sure that I put my sauce in a separate container than the other food for preservation. Look how proud I am, y'all. Like, I really turned in the assignment. Okay, do you see how beautiful these plates were? I ate off of them at work for the entire week. It was a joy to have lunch each day. Follow me for more meal prep inspiration like this, y'all. I hope this was truly helpful.